Hey guys, what's going on out there? Oh, there we go. Hey guys, Will Ripley here, tuning in live for Jam Play, and I hope you're doing great and gearing up for Rock Guitar Solo of the Week, number 7. So go ahead and drop me a comment. Let me know what's going on and just how you're doing. Maybe what kind of guitar is sitting in your lap, where you're tuning in from in the world. You can just say, hey, just let me know that you're out there. Let me know that you're alive and well. And then you should probably grab your guitar. I mean, what are you doing watching this without a guitar? Go get it. So anyways, I'm sure you got your guitar and ready to rock with me here. And it's going to be a fun one because if you haven't gathered already, it's all about funk rock. Okay, so I've got a very like David Bowie inspired track here, but also some James Brown elements and also some Stevie Wonder elements coming up here in the actual solo itself. So kind of a big amalgamation of a bunch of, kind of funk, R&B style, especially like the track. Like the track is really like a funk track, okay? I mean, yes, it's pretty guitar heavy. Let's just listen to it for a second and you'll know what I'm saying. Okay, so there's quite a bit of guitar going on there. Of course, with like, you got that clean funk guitar. And of course, the other guitar. Oh yeah. Okay, so let me know what song that reminds you of, if any. And then actually, certainly the chorus also has a very, so we got 2 parts to this song. So here comes the next, you can always tell because the drum fill, okay? And here's the next part of the tune. Makes it go like this, right? So I hope you're grooving with me there and enjoying that vibe. So of course it's very funky, like I said, very guitar heavy because hey, it's Rock Guitar Solo of the Week. And yeah, if you caught my intro there, I'm just ripping on really like some rock guitar-esque kind of stuff that's very blues based, of course. And really the key secret to playing funk rock or funk and R&B is to not do anything different. And what I mean by that is that it actually has all the same underlying technique and theory behind it. So we don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel or figure out a new key or new scales or anything to play, because blues and rock are very similar, as you probably gathered. If it weren't for blues, there would be no rock, right? So, and R&B and funk is very similar, that it's also very much derived from the blues and things like that too. So it has kind of that blues underlying root to it as well. So what we're doing here is we're in the key of F sharp, okay? And if you do want to get the tabs and the backing track for this, that's for Jam Play members only. And you guys tuning in on the Jam Play members only area know that already. You can download the GPX files and the PDF and also this jam track that I've recorded here for you. And if you want to become a Jam Play member and you're watching on the Campfire Guitar Star networks, make sure to start your 7-day free trial. You'll find that link in the description below. So guys, let's just hop right in. So I wanted to just give you just an overview first. So as you guys know, we've got, and by the way, because we're live, make sure to drop in any questions that you have, okay? So just type those in. I'll get those handled for you guys. So let's see. So there's a couple of underlying things I wanted to show you just real quick. And one of them, of course, is we're in the key of F sharp. So what that means is that we're going to basically starting our pentatonic scales off of the F sharp note. Okay, so that's the 2nd fret of the low E string, which is F sharp. So why don't you just go ahead and warm up your fingers. Maybe you haven't been playing today. And just go ahead and just play that scale as fast or as slow as you can. Just whatever feels comfortable. Okay. Maybe you know some patterns through there. That's kind of my go-to pattern right now. It's like a sequence of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And yeah, we're all based around this F sharp note here, okay? And if you've been catching some of the other rock guitar solos of the week, there's gonna be this extension scale. So we go up that minor pentatonic scale, slide that, once you get to the G string, slide that 4th fret into the 6th fret, which will line you up very nicely to hit these 2 notes up top. So that's the 5th and 7th frets on the top 2 strings, the B and E string. So just go ahead and mess around with that for a second. So when we hit the G string, then you're gonna slide up to the 6th fret. Okay, so again, just get the fingers warmed up, just see if you can go ahead and play through that particular sequence, okay? Okay, so that's the extension scale, and like I said, if you've been catching the other rock guitar solos of the week, pretty much every solo that I can think of right off the top of my head has involved that scale on some level, and especially, so what we're doing there is we're doing an extension, as you're probably just hearing for yourself. I'm not actually doing anything different than a minor pentatonic scale, but it's just an extension of it and bridges your first position minor pentatonic scale, which is this one, into your second position minor pentatonic scale, which is this one. But typically you don't really see a ton of licks being played in the first 3 strings of the second position, but you do see a ton of licks being played on the top 3 strings of the second position, and that's just a beautiful way to transition from one to the next. So hopefully that's making sense. And so of course, one of the big things that you can always do to basically double your knowledge on the guitar is to play what you know already in this lower octave and just move it up 12 frets, okay? So if we go ahead and start on the 14th fret, that's actually still an F sharp note. It's just an octave higher, so we can actually play that exact same thing. So there's our first position minor pentatonic scale up there. But we can also play that extension in the exact same way, so it's the exact same pattern, but you can hear for yourself how different it sounds, right? So if we're shredding on something like this, I can play that exact same lick. Actually, that wasn't exact, wasn't it? There we go, there was an exact lick. So it's the exact same lick, exact same fingerings, technique, etc. But you can hear for yourself just how different that sounds. And I've been trying to encourage you guys through this series to incorporate those elements. Like you don't have to, learn a brand new scale or 7 scales or whatever to get something new sounding. Sometimes it's just the matter of taking what you already know and just putting it into a different place of the guitar. And I really feel like that's a really big key element to rock guitar playing. And we're certainly going to see that in this solo here today. So we've got those particular places. Now, the other thing and kind of a big key secret is to start your minor pentatonic scale off the A string. So an F sharp note is the 2nd fret of the low E string, and we've already talked about that plenty. But you can also play an F sharp note on the 9th fret of the A string. So what that means that we've got a 5-note minor pentatonic scale, which is still 100% totally a minor pentatonic scale. And you may know this as your 4th position minor pentatonic scale, which is start on the 9th fret of the low E string. Okay, so a lot of people know that as their 4th position, but also you can just think of it as a minor pentatonic scale starting from the 9th fret of the A string. So that would just look like this. We've got 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, and then we just got to adjust because that old B string just needs a little adjustment. So that would be the 10th fret and 12th fret, which I'm choosing to use my 2nd and 4th fingers just to keep everything lined up, and then a 1, 4 to finish it off. Okay, and if you really want to hear it kind of resolve, you can go 2 frets higher, okay, up to that F sharp note on the 14th fret of the high E string. So what that would look like at 9th fret, here we go, let's play this one together, ready, go. Okay, let's start, and we'll go down. One more time, a little bit faster. Ready, go. Okay, and so those are where this solo is going to be composed, and I'm going to show you all kinds of killer licks inside of here. And of course, we're going to be really focusing on the funk elements. And a big part of that, of course, is rhythm. So we're going to be really focusing on a lot of 16th note elements. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So that's kind of the bang, chicken, chicken. So actually, let's put on the track and suss out the. Okay, so there's our tempo, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, to clap out the 16th notes, we'd be looking for 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. Okay, so what we can do is, man, I'm getting shocked by something. Whew. There's like an electrical current coming through something. Whew. That's weird, man. I'm sure you saw me jolt. Okay, so getting back from being shocked. So we've got. So if you get your right hand going like this, that's going to access your 16th note. So we've got. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and go ahead and just do this exact same thing that I'm doing and just see if you can line up with me for a second. So of course I'm using dead weight across the strings here with my left hand, and I'm just strumming up and down and in tempo and I'm kind of thinking to myself 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so those are 4 groups of 4 in between each beat. So if we got boom, 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 right? So there's our tempo, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a chicka 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 chicka. So there's going to be a lot of elements like that inside the tab, and you'll see that tabbed right out. So why don't we go ahead and pull up the tab just on the very first page and have a look at this. So the very first thing is we are gonna throw in some rhythmic elements into this solo. So we're not going to be just shredding nonstop. We're going to be kind of accessing the 16th note groove and some funk elements. And of course, we're going to have some tasty licks in here too. So the very first thing is we're going to actually mirror what's going on in the track, which sounds like this. So the big thing is I'm doing that 16th note rhythm, and the little figure that's happening here is I've got my F sharp minor pentatonic scale, and I'm doing this one extension note, which you'll find in either major pentatonic or your F sharp Dorian scale. So it's just, okay. So that note right there, and we're going to combine that with this note on the 5th fret. So, okay, so it kind of sounds like a little bit dissonant, doesn't it? It sounds actually very dissonant. And that's what you call a tritone, and you'll find those all over funk guitar. And so we're going to be going like this. We're just going to resolve that up to the 5th fret. So I'm choosing to use my 3rd and 4th fingers. But you can use your first two fingers if those are kind of more strong and just more comfortable. But yeah, so okay, let's try that for a second. Ready, go. Ready, go. Ready, go. Okay, and like I said, if you're having problems with this, just make sure that this is just on autopilot, your right hand. Okay, so in this case, I'm just really focusing on the top two strings. Ready, go. And of course, the big thing is I'm just engaging and disengaging those fingers. And you'll see that tabbed out with the rhythm above. If you just kind of, even if you don't know how to read rhythmic notation, I'm sure you can see we've got down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Okay? So down, up, 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 down, up. Right? So that's why the tabs are super handy to have, and you'll see those on the screen right there. But yeah, just zoom in on that very first bar, and you'll see all those 16th notes and the X's, right, on the staff there. Those are representing those chicka chickas, right? So if we just get this on autopilot and consider that each one of those groupings are a grouping of one E and like they're a grouping of 4 strums, then we've got down, up, 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 down, up. Okay? And then, yeah, so, and then of course that last grouping of 16th notes is going to be on the 5th fret. So, okay? So we repeat that now, and then I've got this lick for you here. Okay? So it's tabbed out like this, like 6 down to 4, 2, 4. So that's all on the G string except for the last note. So, okay, so that's 6, 4, 2. Okay, so 6, 4, 2, 4. So I'm just switching back and forth between those 2 bits, and you can optionally add in this as the first note of that lick, which would be the 6th fret and the 5th fret, and that's again going back to that connection aspect, right, that we were talking about earlier, of connecting those 2 scale and playing those together. And we'll see that lick, and we've seen those in previous rock guitar solos of the week that I've been producing. But just classic rock guitar licks right there. So we can start this by going. You can actually do double stops all along that. So of course that's just combining the B string at the same time. So in this case it's 6 and 5, but then these 2 positions is just right behind on the same fret. So 4 and 4, 2 and 2, and then ending on the 4th fret of the D string. Okay, and that's the first bit. So we're just switching back and forth between the. Okay, so it's a really cool way to start a solo, is to actually really make your solo very rhythmic and with the band, and not departing from the band and just doing your own thing. So this is like a way to play a solo in a way that still has a lot of connection to the band and to the music going on around you, which is really important, because, you know, are you going off on an actual solo, like are you just playing solo, or are you playing with the band and are you playing with the music? Which of course is the goal, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, you know, because we're so, as guitar players, we love soloing, it just feels so cool, but to really play a great solo, I believe that you need to be connected with the band, with the music that's happening underneath you. So that's what really creates the best solos, of course. So this is a great way to do that, where you're still connected with the band, still playing rhythm, but you're playing some tasty, cool licks, and it's still out front and in your face. So here we go. So yeah, so we got that. So that's the first bar, and then the only other switch up. So we've got some repeat cymbals in here, okay? So so that whole first bar would get repeated, and then we're just gonna switch this. We're just gonna play this note now, our 5th fret of our high E string, which is an A note. We're just gonna switch that down an octave to play it here. I wanted to show you this variation of this funk guitar move. So another tritone, which sounds really dissonant, but when you start funking it up like that, it sounds really funky. Like that's like funk rock guitar, or sorry, funk guitar, kind of like in a nutshell, So it's the exact same rhythm, the exact same everything. We're just playing that note down an octave, which just changes this into, okay? So it's the same thing, but yeah, you'll see 2 and 4 on the second bar there, or sorry, the second line, which is bar 3. And the way that's tabbed out is you can play these guys, but in kind of whatever one's just more accessible and sounding good to you. So like 2 and 4 up to 5, okay? Or you can hit that top 2 strings at the same time. So we got. And if you're ready for that lick. Okay, so a question came in. I have no problems with straight 16th rhythms, but struggle with offbeat accents. Advice on how to train odd grooves. So, yeah, I think this will be a really good challenge for you, because, and I would really try to get a metronome set up for this one, where you can, and feel free to actually set your metronome to actual 16th notes, right? So that would be really fast in this case. It'd literally be going at that tempo, tick, 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 like really fast. But that, or maybe 8th notes, but just something that won't drive you too crazy. But yeah, and in this very first line, you'll see that we've got, we're like as I mentioned, that's just going nonstop, but you'll clearly see on the rhythmic notation, even if you don't know how to read rhythmic notation, just know that this is on autopilot. And we're in groups of 4, so 1 E and 2 E and, or you can just think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll clearly see the X's, which are that sound, and then the notes, which are either that or that, right? Like the actual fretted notes are making the notes, which are represented on the tabs there, and that will get you sorted out on that rhythm. So. Yeah, and you'll just really clearly see what is muted and what is not. But yeah, get a metronome going. See if you can even just lock in like this, right? First, just making sure that you can really get that on autopilot before you start clicking some of those things. And yeah, just start slow, of course, and see if you can get this particular little funky rhythm, So, and that's the thing, like if you're not used to playing funk, it can be really, really hard to do this at the beginning, but, and this goes back to like some basic chording stuff too. Like you can be going, Of course, that's kind of reminiscent of Night Moves by Bob Seger. And so that might be a cool move for you to do too, is to just get back to a basic tune like that that's using that slap strum, you know, and just getting used to disengaging those left hand fingers and getting a little slap strum with that right hand. But yeah, it just instantly upgrades your guitar skills on all fronts, you know, your funk abilities, your acoustic strumming abilities, and then it also sounds really cool when you start muting notes in your solos too. So, okay, so moving on, yeah, so we've got that first couple of lines of the tab are gonna sound like this. 1, 2, ready, go. Switch. So you'll see on the third line of the tab, that's going to be bar 5 and 6. You'll see this little riff, and there's a big repeat symbol on the tab there. Well, you'll see a big thick line with 2 dots, and that always means that we're going to take that section and repeat it. So we've got a very reminiscent superstition-esque riff here going on. So, and it's cool because it's just all on the 2nd and 4th frets right on your minor pentatonic scale. So 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 2, 4. Okay, but of course that didn't sound like Stevie Wonder. You know, that didn't sound very funky. So we're gonna go like this. Okay, and you'll just see a couple of hammer-ons there where you'll see the 2 with a little loop connecting the 4. That's going to be right. That's going to be that hammer-on, which will, you know, really help make this riff come together. But yeah, so very simple notes. Again, 2 and 4 just on the A, D, and G strings. And so let's just take that line and just play it slow and see if we can funk it up and make it sound juicy. So here we go. Let's. I'll start it. I'll get the tempo going, and you go ahead and hop in when you can. So here it goes. So that's the loop, right? So how would I'm just going to play the 2 bars and then stop and then restart. So 1, 2, ready, go. Sorry, I didn't stop there. My bad. Ready, go. Ready, go. Ready, go. Ready, go. And now this time, actually, I'll play it and just keep on looping it. Ready, go. Okay, so that's the next part. But yeah, so again, that's kind of a Stevie Wonder-esque little riff right there, right out of your minor pentatonic scale, and really focusing on making notes short and funky. So we're really playing that very staccato-esque. And in fact, if you actually bring your pick back really close to your bridge, right? It can really make it sound kind of like a clav. So we've got that riff going on, and so of course, like when I play the note, I'm just releasing it, but instantly muting it with my left hand. Right, and just really making that, making those short and really like kind of stabby, right? And just kind of like having this jolting effect, which will make people shake their booties, you know, and dance. So we got. This next little section, which is on bar 7 and 8 of the tabs, is just going to be kind of reminiscent of Around the World by the Chili Peppers. You know, something like that, which is just really leaning hard on the flat 7 of the minor pentatonic scale, or the flat 7 of F sharp. So in this case, it's going to be the 2nd fret. And I'm resolving it to the root note, an F sharp note. So, right? So that's always like a really cool move to do in a kind of funk rock context, which is leaning hard on the flat 7. Like, in fact, check this out. Like, I can actually really lean hard on this, and I think it kind of sounds good. So check it out. So you see what I mean? They can really lean hard on that flat 7. And again, it's just a funk move and just a cool rock guitar thing to throw into your tool belt. You know, you can definitely lock in with your band or your jam track, or however you're playing your solos, and that's just a move that you can go to and just make it stabby and make it funky, and just see if you can connect with that with the rhythm of the band or the jam track, and ultimately, hopefully, make people shake their booties. So, what do we got? Okay, so now we're going to go back to that little connector scale on the 6th and 5th frets of the G string and D string. So if we slide into that, now what that's going to do is that's going to help us connect from our Okay, so hopefully you got that rhythm down on the 4th and 6th frets down here, that kind of superstition-esque riff, because we're going to do the exact same riff, just an octave higher. So we're going to look at the 4, 6, 5, 7, 5, 7. Okay, so in that zone, just get comfortable with those notes. And the very first note is going to be on the 7th fret, which is F sharp, 7th fret of the B string. Okay, so we've got 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. Okay. Then we're going to go to 4, 6, 5, 7, 4, 6, 5, 5, 7. Okay, so again, it's the exact same riff, the exact same melody is what we saw down here, just an octave higher, and it's just going to access a different tone, a different style, a different level of energy, and also what will require just a slightly different finger placement, because we've got to adjust because of that G string, B string connection there. So let's go ahead and jam on this for a second. So starting on that 7th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what's cool about this is this is a great little connector to build up the energy And if you're playing with a really responsive band, then your drummer and bass player and whoever else is going to connect with that. Because as a soloist, if you're going, here it comes. Right, so that little connector will also connect you on a pathway to inject more energy into the moment. So it's just a great classic way. Right? And yeah, there's, like, as you can see, I'm approaching it a different way. And again, as that's hitting that flat 7, so it's not resolved until you go, right? So that's why it kind of just builds tension and like I said, creates that pathway for, for more energy in the moment. So again, another rock guitar solo thing for you, a tool to put in your tool belt. So, and then that's going to set us up, and we're not doing anything too crazy. Like I said, we're playing the same riff, the same melody, but now we're an octave higher. So that little gateway right there is going to help us just play something really effective and have more energy in the moment. And just accessing a different zone. And yeah, an octave higher, it sounds higher, so it may have the feeling of elevated energy. So, okay, so that brings us to page 2 of the PDF, and that's going to bring us to another zone. We're gonna hit this again, that connector. And then we're gonna go all the way up to our minor pentatonic scale in the root position, but up top here. We're gonna throw in. So yeah, so we're just hitting this connector. So in this case, I'm barring the top 3 strings and just really outlining an F sharp minor chord on the 14th fret. So, and yeah, and you can kind of do a little, like just a slide. This kind of sounds very Chili Peppers to my ears. And then, but also like a little bit of Chuck Berry in there when you approach it from a 1 fret lower. Okay, and so I've set you up with a cool little lick, and this kind of reminds me of Guns N' Roses a little bit. But definitely, like, I've heard Slash play this in solos, but really it's more like a Chuck Berry type of move. But yeah, so we're hitting, so again, if you just kind of think about your minor pentatonic scale right here, just your home bass minor pentatonic, that's where we're going to be hanging out here for this next little section. Okay, and if you caught my rock guitar solo of the week number 6, which is called Mixing Prowess, and that was all about mixing major and minor together. And that's really what we're hitting on here, is we're gonna tap into that major 3rd note. And that move looks like this, when you cover the 14th fret of the B string and G string, but then make it major by hammering in to the 15th fret of the G. So we're changing that from like our minor to major, right? So you can hear that sad to happy kind of lift, right? So we've got 14, 16, 14 with that hammer on, and we can just riff on that. So the only single note I'm playing is that final 16 to 14 at the end. So kind of full tempo. Just again, like I said, very kind of old school rock and roll guitar right there, very Chuck Berry-esque. if you think about, just kind of like Johnny B. Good-esque. Okay, so we're really trying to just hit a really high energy point here by going, we had this big builder connector, right? Creating another pathway for more energy, and then we're gonna go way up top, and we're gonna be playing a bunch of strings at the same time, up to 3 notes at a time. So that will just make your guitar like really quite loud, right? So of course, it's louder than playing one note, right? There's just more going on, so there's just kind of has this feeling of more volume going on as well. So yeah, so we got this pathway, creating the pathway for more energy, and then and then we're going to go back to something familiar and connect with the song again by going really something similar to what we did at the very beginning. But and so what I'm talking about is bar 21 now, and that's, you'll see we've got 2 notes going on at the same time up on the 17th fret. So and pretty darn sure that's going to be the same rhythm. It might be slightly different, but it's the exact same idea of getting back into that 16th note pattern, but we're doing it up high. Yeah, so again, connector, 14th fret. Back to funk. So this is a pretty hot lick as well. So that's bringing us to, what bar are we at? Bar 23. Okay. So very funky rhythm there, and a very, I love repeating licks like this. As you can see, we are really like taking these chunks, and we're not playing something different every time. We're grabbing a chunk and we're riffing on that. Grab another chunk, we're riffing on that. And here's another thing, another chunk that you can riff on. So 14, 16, 14 pull off to 16. So that's it. So 14, 14, 16, 14, 16. And then once you get into a nice little funky rhythm, I got. And yeah, I just got a little descending lick that's going to bring us into the final chapter of this solo. So yeah, so just a little kind of descending thing from 16, 14, 16, 14, 12. Okay, and you'll find that little passage on. So that little passage is going to be, man, every time I touch my computer, it shocks me. Whew. Okay, I think I got to like not touch my guitar because something weird is happening. Oh man, that will wake you up. Okay, so yeah, so that little passage getting down was number 26. Oh, I look forward to somebody writing me saying, and I'll know that somebody's tuning in to my live lessons because somebody will say, yeah, I was tuning into that lesson and were you getting shocked? I'll be like, oh yeah, that one, like the only time that's ever happened, and of course it's live, right? Anyways, that's strange. I think it's because I'm touching my strings, touching my computer, and then I can feel it through my necklace. So maybe I should just take my necklace off, but my necklace is so cool. Anyways. Okay, so all you electrical engineers out there can tell me what the heck is going on there. All right. Yeah, because I'm getting shocked on like the back of my neck. So, okay, so this is bringing us down to the bottom of page 2 of the PDF. So we're gonna outline probably the funkiest chord of all time, which is gonna be an F sharp 9 chord. And it's just really like a dominant 9 chord. It doesn't matter the fact that it's an F sharp, that doesn't make it particularly funky, but just because we're in the key of F sharp, that's why I said it's an F sharp 9 chord is so funky. So again, if this is getting to that idea of playing notes and riffs off of the 9th fret of the A string, which is going to be an F sharp note. So again, if you remember at the very beginning of the lesson, we outlined this minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so we've got 9, 12, 9, 11, 9, 11, 10, 12, 9, 12. Okay. Okay. And a great chord that also works with that whole thing is this guy right here. Now, I'm playing this with my 3rd finger barred. A lot of people really struggle with that. Now, you can also play it like this. So it's kind of like a condensed C-add 9 chord, if you know that chord. But in this case, if you just bump up your 3rd and 2nd fingers, okay, and then of course play it on the 9th fret. Okay, but I really like when I get that 3rd finger barred, so I've got all 5 strings going on. Now this, my friends, if you start sliding it down from half a step below or half a step above, that gets a really great blues and funk chord into your tool belt. So if we get that idea going on again with the 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a... And that's the thing, like, yes, I have specific rhythms laid out for you here, which I consider to be particularly funky, but really the key to doing this is again getting that 16th note going on, and you can literally play any one of those. Right, so as you can see, I'm really just improvising on that, but you can see that right hand is just chugging along, and I'm just punching in those chords as long as you know, this thing is on autopilot and just riffing. You can actually really play a lot of funk guitar techniques, and a lot of this whole thing will make a lot of more sense. But that's really the key, is to get this locked into the tempo, and then you can literally just kind of punch and release, you know, press and release, punch and release a lot of those chords, and you'll start getting really rhythmical guitar playing happening. So, and again, if you're having problems with that one, just stick with this one, this 4-finger version. This is the difference between this, and here's my version. Okay, you can also reach that pinky finger now that it's free. You know, if you're doing this 3-finger version with the 3rd finger barring the top 3 strings, then you can actually reach this pinky finger up to the 11th fret of the high E string. Right? So we get all kinds of cool, funky tones going on like that. And, okay, so that's kind of the basic idea, what's happening there on bars 27 and 28. Just with the, and then so really we're going to be going just, we're going to be doing this 9th fret thing, but then accessing some licks right out of this minor pentatonic scale. So the first one is 9 and 10. So just this. So I'm riffing on the chord. Okay. Right, so that's the basic of idea of what's going on here in the next few bars. So that's basically what's going on, bar 31. And then at the very end, I just got a nice little tasty minor pentatonic lick for you. So what I'm doing here is, actually, let's see, try not to shock myself. Okay, so we've got, this is kind of a cool little line that connects this passage into this passage. So here's a double stop. 12th fret is bending up a full step, catching the high E string. So 12th fret to the high E string, and then you can actually bump that up to the 14th fret. And again, that's outlining the your minor pentatonic scale already. So I kind of like going like that. So if I'm going, okay, and so that brings us to the end of the solo, my friends. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do now is it's time to answer your questions. And so go ahead and get those typing fingers going. Find that chat box, drop me in a comment, let me know that you are getting this. And if you have any questions about what we went over in today's lesson, any questions about gear, about guitar playing in general, okay? Happy to chat with you guys and just answer any of your burning questions when it comes to becoming a better guitar player. So what I'm going to do while those questions come in is I'm just going to put on the track and just have a rip over it. And basically I'll lay out this solo that you'll see tabbed out for you. And if you want the tabs, if you want the jam track, make sure that you become a Jam Play member. And over on the Campfire Guitar Star Networks, you guys will probably see that you can get a 7-day free trial through that link that I'm providing. And you Jam Play members that are watching inside the community member know that you, the community area, you guys already know that you can download this jam track, download these tabs, and just get all this stuff happening. So while those questions come in, I'm going to go ahead and just have a rip over here. All right, here we go. Shall start from the start here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so a question has come in about the double stop bend. How do you do the double stop bend? So I think that what this question is regarding is going to be just that last passage there at the very end where I was connecting this guy. Okay. Okay, so probably the big thing that you may be challenged by is actually just getting a decent bend in the first place. So, what's happening here is that I'm bending up that second string, the B string on the 12th fret, up a full step, and how I'm doing that is by loading up 3 fingers on that string, right? And I'm using these kind of as a plow, like a snow plow, thinking that these strings are snow, and I'm just plowing all these guys right in line with it. So I'm actually, when you bend the B string, I'm actually bending the G string and a little bit of the D string as well, okay? Okay. So I'm doing that guy. That's the very first step of this double bend lick. Or sorry, double bend? Double stop. So we're doing a double stop, and what the double stop is in reference to is just when you get this sound. Okay, so but that's the very first thing is that just getting a lot of muscle on that string, 3 fingers loaded up, bending the B string, G string, and a bit of the D string. And then once you get that up to pitch, then sneak in your pinky finger, it's just hanging out, right? And then you hit it right on the high E string. You can hit those together or you can hit them separate. So you can hit one or you can hit them at the same time, right? So here's that first version. And the second version, strumming up at the same time. Okay, so, and yeah, and so you can hear there, I'm hitting, doing the bend, hitting the double stop note, hitting the first note again and releasing it, right? So, I am going bend, high E string, release, and then back up. A little vibrato on top doesn't never hurt. Okay, up 2 frets. And then you can even go up to the 17th fret. And hey, how about 2 more frets? Okay, that sounds kind of cool, hey? It might be a good little sequence for you to practice. So, or sorry, that was 14th fret. All right. So guys, I think that is all the questions that are coming in for right now. And again, definitely check out the 7-day free trial that you can get hooked up on through the Campfire Guitar Star networks. Otherwise, make sure to check out the other rock guitar solos of the week. This is number 7. So if you enjoyed this lesson and got something out of it, there may be 6 other lessons for you to dig into with the jam tracks and tabs and all that good stuff. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. You guys have a great weekend, and we will catch you next week for rock guitar solo number 8, the final rock guitar solo of the series. We'll be going over a blues and rock kind of vibed out track, which will be super sweet, kind of done in the style of like Cream or Mountain, kind of like that late 60s psychedelic blues rock. So we'll be digging into that, and I'll catch you next Friday, same time, same place. And until then, keep on ripping it up.